Welcome to Living Life on the Max with Keisha B. Spivey, a weekly podcast that will challenge you and encourage you to live your best life yet. Well, hello there, and thank you for tuning in to Living Life on the Max. Today, I get the joy of starting a new series called Soul Sisters. And depending on who you are, you might want to put an A on that thing and call it Soul Sistas, but we're going to call it Soul Sisters. And before you go ahead and tune me out and start saying things like, I don't do women, or saying things like I don't need anybody, or saying women are messy, I want to challenge you to hear my heart on today. Because let me warn you, I've been hurt like the rest of y'all. I have been bent, I've been burned, and I've been betrayed. And I get it. I also get what it's like when you're walking through life and you are feeling like you are alone. But I also get the joy now of walking with some sisters who I know got my back. And I want to challenge some women to deal with some hurt and deal with some pain so that you can get to the power of real sisterhood, because real is worth the risk. Real is worth the risk. And today I have a guest with me in the studio, and we're going to have a little sister chat about some sisterhood. And we want to invite you in our story, because my gut says there's something in there that you can relate to, something that you can learn from, and something that you can see that we did all bad wrong, that you can do different and you can do better. But my guest today is a very dear friend of mine. It's Stephanie Battle. She's a wife, she's a mother, she's a minister, she's a leader, she's a visionary. She's a mighty, mighty woman of God. And I couldn't think of a better person to launch this series with, just because of our relationship. And there's so many things that we're similar on. There are things that we're different on, but there's one thing that binds us together. We understand the power of being together, and that better is together. Better together is the way we should go. So Stephanie, I want to welcome you. Welcome to the show today.
Thank you.
And I just want to kind of get started, because I was talking to my husband about this, about how we first met. I want you to tell our listeners today how we became friends.
And look, and I was thinking, when did we meet? Now, I know we both spoke on a conference here at Word Tabernacle Church. And I had never met you before, never seen you. And then wife prayer. I know with wife prayer, you started calling in to the wife prayer calls. And we just started connecting as we started confiding in each other. And that's what I was thinking, like, and it was funny because we were in Greensboro around the same time.
Absolutely. Same church.
Same school. Never met each other. So at A&T together, Aggie Pride, at New Light.
Carter's Brown.
Shout out to Pastor Carter's. Then Rocky Mount is not that big. And when we had met, you and Eric had been here how long?
Probably about 8 years.
Yeah.
8 years.
And our paths had never crossed. And we met I saw you minister at that conference. We connected over wife prayer. And one of the things the Lord just really, when I was preparing for this, he was talking about kingdom connections. And we like to say people are in your life for a season, they'll leave and that is true for some. But I know a kingdom connection is intentional and it is on time. And that's what I think of. It was like the Lord just unveiled us or like revealed us to each other, and we were always in that circle. And so
I think, like you said, divine connections. We were both in seasons where we needed friends.
Yes.
And we had our circles, and we had people that we did life with. But as ministers, because we both are pastors, we're both ministers, it's just a different animal. And sometimes you have people who can see you as a friend, but then they have a hard time watching you transfer hats.
Yes.
And they want to put you in a box, and they want to treat you like you're not human, and like you can't laugh and you can't have fun. So I think we both needed what I like to call a safe place to land.
Yes.
So
yes.
I think it was weird how I got connected to wife prayer. And it was just God led me to wife prayer. I happened to see a post, and I immediately said, that sounds great, but I don't even know if I can do women right now.
Yeah.
I don't know if I can do women right now. And the reason why I said that is because I had just been betrayed by a few women who were close to me.
Wow.
And I'm like, I just need a breather. I can be okay. And the Lord says, no, you need sisters. even from afar. And we didn't know each other, but I called down the line and I got to know your heart. I got to know some of the other ladies' heart on the line. And it was just like, it was sweet to my soul. So when I think about us, two very strong, very opinionated, very ambitious, go get them, take no junk, tell it like it is, women, what would you say were some barriers or that the world would have put in place to keep women like me and you to keep from being friends? What does society impose? Even the church, because church people crazy too. What is the church or society? What roles did they play that could literally have hindered us from our relationship?
The competitive nature. So when I look at us and how we are so much alike, even our marriages, like when you're describing Eric or I'm describing Jason, the things that we say or even do, we are so much alike. And the world would say we should be competitors. We should be competing against each other. We should be, dissing you so I could shine more, right? So trying to dull your light so people can see me as the pastor who can teach, me as the one who ministers on relationships, because we do some of the similar ministries. And I think that is just how the Lord has connected us over those desires, because we want to see women developed and empowered. We want to see marriages successful. We want people to stay in their place and be confident that the Lord is going to shine on you. He will use you, but you out of order right now. You need to get back in your place. And when we see that, the world says, oh, she is a competitor. Not one you cooperate with, not one you compliment. And I have just seen how when I call you, I say I need to talk, when we just sit down and we compliment each other and we join together, how the Lord has moved individually in my life. I mean, I have an awesome testimony about that when the Lord called me, opened the door for me to come to ministry. And I was entering ministry in the church, and you were exiting ministry in the church.
That is funny. I forgot about that.
Yeah, and you remember I was like, I need to talk to you. Can you meet me on the campus at the coffee shop? And so much of the stuff that I was concerned about, or so much of the stuff that I was contemplating, I didn't even tell you that, but in your story of how you worked at a church, got into ministry, and then why the Lord even transitioned you out, it gave me confidence. And it comforted me like, yeah, this is where I'm supposed to be right now. And I can't think of the future or tomorrow, because the Lord may transition me to something else. But just knowing that He has me, that's the only thing. And that's sort of like what you said. God has you. He has your marriage. He has your children. That's the only thing to be worried about. And it brought me so much peace.
Because we can overthink some stuff. That's something else we do well together.
Yeah.
But I think when you were saying that, how the world wants us to compete, when I look at you, I see a cheerleader. Mm-hmm. And I see someone that when I'm winning, you in the corner cheering.
Yes.
When I'm losing, girl, get yourself together. Snatch your whole stuff
up. What do I need to do?
Get yourself together. Get back up in there. This thing ain't over. I can see you pushing. And I think women miss out on that, because when they look at other people and they find themselves comparing, and they find themselves competing, then you can never be who God has called you to be.
Yes.
Because when I look at us, one Sunday we were in church together, and I think my daughter tapped me on the shoulder, because you were up there jumping, leaping about 12 inches off the floor. And I was over here jumping. She said, what is this? Do y'all send each other a memo? And we were laughing. And we both turned around about that time and slapped high five in the air, because you do you and I do me.
Yes.
And if I'm in my lane and you're in your lane, let's cheer each other on.
Yes.
You do you.
Yes.
And all that God has called you to do. And so for me, I think it gives us a place that we can be vulnerable.
Yes.
We can be naked and not ashamed. Mm-hmm. And I think when you win, I win. When you struggle, I'm struggling.
Yes.
And that's what real sisterhood is. And it allows us to take our similarities. It allows us to take our differences and do what God has called us to do in our own style.
In our own style.
And I think about, for us, and I think about ministry. I remember you saying somebody had said something to you one time about how I was teaching and how you should do something like this. And somebody came to me and told me how I should do something like you. Yeah. And I'm like, why I need to do that? Right. She do that. I don't need to change who I am.
Yes.
And Eric laughs because he said our styles are so different, but we both start out preaching on 100. He said there's no room, there's nowhere else to just go.
Right.
So, but I appreciate our differences. You know, what are your views when you think about you in ministry? And let's just be keeping it real. You can have a whole lot of women around you, and this is no slam on anybody, you know, individually, but you can have a whole lot of women around you and still be alone.
Yes. Yes,
You can be a room full of people. You could be doing a women's conference with hundreds of women and people. You got armor bearers and you got people that are talking to you and hugging you, and you still feel alone.
Yes.
I want you to talk to me about your views on and the value of cultivating relationships with other women that are not superficial, that are not about your shoes and your purse and your hair. That are not about what other people think.
Yes.
I mean, what are your thoughts on truly getting to a place where you can cultivate the essence of who you are with another woman and get to a place where you can trust them with you?
Yeah. I think I am one who always rests on the fact that God is intentional. Like, we could, and just again, all the circles that we ran in, but 16 years went by before we even said, oh, you know, hi, how are you doing? Because God is intentional. And if you're sitting beside somebody, he's intentional. If you're in that small group, if you're sitting beside them in church, he's intentional. And I think we look to people and we look past God so much that we need each other to validate one another instead of saying, oh, this is who the Lord is sending for me to be able to do his work. Like, I'm already affirmed in who I am. I'm already sure of what he wants me to do. And now my eyes are open differently. It's not, you know what I'm saying? I don't have to guard myself because the Lord is doing that, right? And I say people all the time, I am a king's kid. I am his daughter. And you know how natural fathers are. I remember McKinley is in 9th grade. And that whole thing, and she goes to the school where my husband teaches. And that whole thing, that whole first day conversation, like, I wish somebody would. I'm not gonna be Coach Battle. I'm gonna be McKinley's dad. Think about a natural father and how they respond over their daughter. You better be careful when you touch God's daughters, and that's what I'm assured in.
That's good.
So look, I don't have to watch. I don't have to watch my back with you. I don't have to be. Now I do have to be discerning,
yes,
and we do need to be wise. The Lord will show you, right? And when He shows us, I think we too busy trying to justify to Him why no, that's not it, God. Like we try to say, no, Lord, you don't know what you're doing. No, she's not the one because XYZ. Or she's not the one because of what I heard. I almost missed out on some very key relationships in my life now based on other people. You can't do that. And the thing is, it is so amazing how close we've grown because like you said, we are alike, but we are different.
Very different.
We're very different. And the thing is, I think it's important to cultivate those relationships because relationships take work. But they're worth it, and we can't reject the relationship because of insecurities that we have. I think women come to the table insecure, and I met you after a season of just meeting the Lord. Like I went on Facebook. Even my husband's like, are you okay? What's wrong? I was quiet around the house because I was feeling such a way. I was getting easily offended. I was hurt, everything somebody said or every event on Facebook that I didn't get invited to. Then I started evaluating, like, I thought they were my friends. And then I started putting these overt or covert, I don't know which word to use, message on Facebook. I'm really talking to them about them, but I'm really not being passive aggressive. And the Lord said, hold on, wait. I cannot take you where I need you to go if you do not get secure in who you are. And now as a woman pastor, and I'm just going to holler, I'm just going to be honest. Now as a woman pastor in Eastern North Carolina, where in the church, I am so glad that I took that time with the Lord to get secure in who I am. And so when I came to the table, I was already secure. That's why when you were ministering that night at the at the women's conference, I was like, you better, I could celebrate you and say amen to you. And I remember I ministered that Friday night and you ministered that Saturday. And even stuff that I had said on Friday, I used it as, when you repeated it, not verbatim, when the Lord used you, I use it as confirmation. But this is what we would do as women. She stole my words. Look at her. She heard me say that last night. And the Lord said, get yourself together. You are not it.
He is it.
He is it. And when we understand about kingdom, and that's why it frustrates you so much when the enemy just take us, Keisha, and we get so easily offended. We so fragile. The Lord can't use you. And it's revealed through relationships. I work hard when I know it's a kingdom connection. Listen, people can say, Pastor Keisha put you on Facebook and said you ugly. I'm like, no, she didn't. Here go the post right here. Oh, and somebody else wrote it. But she told me, you must have had the wrong person.
She must have been with a real relationship that's bubble wrapped in God. That's protected.
Yes.
See, you hit it. You said it. We look to other people to be what only God can be. And that same thing happens in our marriage.
Yes.
We start looking at our spouse trying to be what he's not supposed to be. Only God can do that.
Yes.
When you said something, I thought about a quote from Maya Angelou. She says, I don't believe an accident of birth makes people sisters or brothers. It makes them siblings. It gives them mutuality of parentage. Sisterhood and brotherhood is a condition that people have to work at.
Wow.
I saw that. She says it has to be worked at. Marriage has to be worked at.
That's
Relationships have to be worked at.
That's
Anything worth having has to be worked at.
Yes.
And if you walking around here, your word all fragile, and can't nobody say nothing to you. Everything is personal. Everything's about you. Hello, get you off your mind.
Yes, get you off
If
your
your
mind.
life is not your own, could it be that God is using this person to refine you, to build you, to show you parts about you that you need to work on? I remember one time, I don't know what was happening. I was in a low place, and I was just praying, and I was praying for my sisters, praying for everyone, and you had an opportunity to do something. And I remember just as plain as day. And I remember, Lord, when are those doors going to open for me? And immediately, as soon as I said that, the enemy tried to come in the doorway, and he tried to say something. And I remember sitting there saying, wait a minute. This ain't got nothing to do with you, Keisha. This ain't your door. It ain't your hallway.
Right.
It is not your house.
Right.
Get back in your lane. Praise God for your sister walking in that thing, and that you get to stand on the sideline and cheer.
Yes.
Because this is about her. And in that moment, because I remember telling Eric about it, I said, I thought this popped up in my head. I said, what in the world? And Eric said, first of all, you tired and you need to eat, because I've been going too much. But then I realized how easily the enemy will try to plant something. But offense is a choice. Letting that thought stay there was a choice. I had to evict it. Because I'm like, wait a minute.
Yep.
I'm her cheerleader. I need to see what God is doing and celebrate. And then being able to have a relationship with someone that you can sit across and say, I was feeling some kind of way about that.
Exactly.
And it ain't got nothing to do with you. It had to do with me.
Nothing.
And being able to be truthful with relationships, because what happens is we sugarcoat friendship. And we try to make it all about everything is cool and good, and it's not always.
Right, exactly.
So being able to have those conversations and be able to be okay.
Okay with it.
Be honest.
I think about something you say, it sticks with me. Don't be devourable. The enemy comes to devour. He seeks who he can devour. But don't be devourable. And I think about how when he picks at relationships, because that is, like you said, that's what the Lord used to cover us, to compliment us, to cheer us on, to comfort us. He uses other people. Then he started devouring your identity. Then but don't be devourable. And that's when I was saying, people can say, when I say people can say, Pastor Keisha said you were ugly, and I will. And I was like, nope, she didn't. Here it go right here. No, that's not right. It's the poster right here. And I'm like, maybe that was an ugly shirt. Instead of, how dare her? Because of what type of relationship we have. And I think too many times the enemy keeps us in a place that is bound, because Jason and I are a part of you and Eric's small group. The first day we connected, it was funny because another person's husband said, I've heard Jason talk more tonight than I heard him talk the 12 years I've known y'all in church. Because it was a connection. Yeah, and I think we lose out on just places where we can be who we are and the Lord continues to grow that connection. But we cut it off quick. We cut it off. We devour it. Even with me and like Chloe, I like to try to put stuff together, see how it looks. And I saw that blue and gold. I was like, oh, this will be bad on Keisha. Like, with her legs and her this will be, I don't do it no justice. Yeah. And I remember the Sunday you walked in with that dress. Oh, girl, I was like, yes, honey. Instead of, I'm gonna put it in goodwill. I don't want her to have it. I don't want her to get. And I think we need to grow up from that.
We choose petty over positioning.
We do. That's
so
good.
we choose petty. And I look at what God is cultivating, not only in us, but through our husbands, through our family, through our children.
Yes.
I think about the other women who watch us, up close and from a distance.
Yep.
Even the ones who are waiting and hoping that something can. Yeah. We are teaching them how to walk through it.
Yes.
We teach them how to walk through it. I read something else that I thought was good. It says, sisterhood is to be together, feel together, heal together, and rise together.
Oh, wow, that is good.
I'm going to say that again. Sisterhood is to be together, feel together, heal together, and rise together.
Yes.
And anything outside of that is a mess.
Yes.
So don't be calling them your sister if you can't be together. It ain't your sister if we can't cry together, laugh together, hurt together, heal together. But when we come up, ain't no sister getting left behind. Mm-hmm. So if I got to prop you up or pull you up, we going up together.
Yes. I was talking to one of my sisters, and she was just talking about how being on Oprah, she just feel like the Lord is going to have on Oprah, and she's a really good coach. And I was like, yep, because I know when you go, I'm going to be, I have no desire to be on Oprah, or I don't even think the Lord's calling me on Oprah. But when you
I'm going with you, baby.
I'm going with you.
Let's go together.
And I'm on Oprah too. And I think we do not realize that when you connected with people, you cannot, that's what we're talking about, yoking. You can't help when they go up, you go up. You cannot help it. Y'all are yoked together, right? And when they go down, you go down with them in order to
get them back up.
I
had a meeting last week, and the lady was talking to me about a big conference next year. And she said, I need you to think about, I want you to give some real serious consideration to people who you think should be a part of that. And I was like, I'll tell you, hold on. You want the email? You want their phone number? It wasn't a question. Because I was sitting there in that moment, and the first people I thought about were my sisters.
Yes.
If we're going to get in this, we going together. It wasn't a question about let me go and then let me show. Mm-mm. See, that's what people want to do. I'm going to go and I'm going to show you. Then I'm going to tell you about. No, we going together.
We going together.
We go together. And when you do that, I was in a meeting and they were talking about all this group of women now that are so powerful, all this influence. But they had a pact 20 years ago when they were going to Jake's conferences and going to Brene Brown stuff, and they would all stay in a hotel room. They would travel up together. It's about 5 of them. If I start calling out their names, you would know. But they were broke, and they would put their money together, and they said, when I get a chance to get in the door and bring you with, it was 5 of them. One of them broke off, started getting some access and forgot. But the other 4 of them are now extremely successful, extremely renowned, and they still do stuff together.
Wow, yeah.
One opened the door, the other one came in. One opened another door someplace else. And so what happened is through their network, they were able to access multiple doors, which gave them leverage because they went together.
That's good.
And the one who went by herself, she's doing her thing, but the 4 who stuck together.
That's good.
They're powerful.
Yes.
That's the power of sisterhood. Mm-hmm. That's the power of brotherhood. That's why Maya says, you got to work at this thing. Because the enemy, just like he attacks marriage, you said it, just like he attacks anything that has the power to reflect God's glory. Mm-hmm. And when I look at our relationship, Stephanie, God is glorified. He's glorified because we overcome the odds. We already in Eastern North Carolina. And I'm just going to keep it real. And we women. And with the audacity to put pastor in front of our name with a little education to go behind it.
Speak it. Yes.
And we got big opinions. Mm-hmm. and big mouths.
Yeah.
We can make it pretty if we want to, but if you don't want to know, you better not ask.
Right.
And we do that. And so it already puts us in a place that makes other people uncomfortable. But everybody needs that group that they can be comfortable with, that they can laugh with, that they can just do them, be authentically themselves. Be able to share their dreams and not have someone try to water them down. To be able to share their fears and not have somebody question their faith. I think Pastor said it last week, where you can just be human.
Yes. Just be
You can be human. I want you to give your closing thoughts on this. When I was preparing for this and thinking about us, I really just thought about how real friendship is worth the risk.
It's worth the risk.
Any closing thoughts you have on that?
I do want to say, friendships, real friendships, kingdom connections, just leave you desiring more. And one of the things I do wish we could do more of is hang out. Like just go to the mall, eat ice cream, right?
Ooh, that sounds fun.
I eat ice cream, go to the mall, and Raleigh go get our feet done. I wish we could do more of that. I still think about the moments we went to the movies, and then we went to eat with Shonda. Then when we met at Pit Stop, I wish we could do more. But what encouraged me is where I am in my life. Where you were, you've been there, and it encourages me. So when I have to drop Jace off at football practice, and then McKinley has a tennis match, and then my Maya has a softball game, I'm reminded about your Aaron, your Maya, your Victoria. And I was like, you know what, Pastor Keisha, she made it. Keisha did it. She did this. She had two girls and a boy just like me who were very active. She was a pastor at the time. She has a husband too. And, and they still smiling. They still love her. They still together. I can do it. And so I think about how even when we not together, we are still encouraging one another from our stories, how we walk things out. And I think about that, and I was like, she probably know, she at a football game, or she at this, or she at that, because I've been here. I can reach back and encourage her. So if I had one wish about a relationship change, it would be that we would just kind of do some of those hangout stuff together. But it's the seasons. And that's why I don't like the terms, some people come for a season, some people come for a reason, because God is always intentional. And kingdom is a forever season. Yeah. Like when we accept Jesus Christ, we start kingdom living right then and there, right? And so I just want to encourage any young woman, because it starts young. It does. Any young woman that's listening to us, any old woman, and you, Pastor Keisha said it, that anyone wants us to think that we're alone, and we are not. We are not alone. He has connected you. If you need to apologize to somebody, if you need to go back and fight for that relationship that you all let pettiness dictate and separate, do that, because the Lord is intentional in that. Like he knows where he's trying to take you and who need to be there with you. And I love it that our kingdom connection is not conditional. It's not situational. Because even now we're at the same church. You were at a different church. You were, before when we first, you were at a different church. We weren't in the same church. So it don't even have to be, we at the same church.
You don't even have to be in the same city.
You don't have to be in the same city.
State. You don't.
And so I just want us to grow up, because I really believe the Lord is doing some powerful things through partnerships in this season. Absolutely. Because none of us can do it alone. And there's enough ministry for us all to do. There's enough money for us all to make. There is enough food for us all to eat. This is not the season to be stingy.
It is not.
It is the season to share. But in our wisdom, the Lord has connected you to those who it's going to be a reciprocal, you pouring into them and they pouring into you for where he's taking you. So I appreciate you being that reciprocal sister who I pour in, you pour into me. We know it's a kingdom connection. It's not defined by any other thing but God, and he sustains it. So thank you.
Well, I appreciate you being here. One of the things I want to close out with is we need to understand that with sisterhood, it's a mutual beneficial relationship. Mm-hmm. Don't confuse sisterhood with an assignment.
Wow. That's good, yeah.
Don't confuse sisterhood with an assignment. Because I have lots of people that I'm assigned to that I don't necessarily classify as a sister.
Right.
Don't. It's okay to admit that. Be mindful that true sisterhood is mutually beneficial. Because here's the thing. I could go weeks and not talk to Stephanie, but I could drop her a 911 text and like, girl, and she's like, what's up? Well, you need me now?
Right.
Just a couple weeks ago, I was going through a little situation and my office door Knox, and in come Trishonda, and in come Stephanie. Yeah. We need to pray for you. What's going on? In the middle of the craziness, right on their lunch hour, because sisterhood sees you. They see you.
They see you.
There is mutually beneficial. And so I am so grateful for our relationship.
Yes.
I'm grateful for where we are, and I will be the one to tell you one day they're all gonna be gone, and you'll have a little more time. I'm just saying, and they'll love you, and all is good. You didn't hurt anybody. Nobody's looking for bones. It's good,
right.
But then it just looks different. So embrace the season, embrace your sisters, and so I want to encourage you. Join me next week. We're gonna continue our this conversation of some soul sisters with another dear friend, different relationship, different personality, different dynamics, but still the same source of just that mutual beneficial relationship. So thank you for tuning in. I still want to challenge you. Continue to do you on the max. God bless you, and we'll talk next week.